This is everything you never learned about Christopher Columbus. Did you know that Christopher Columbus went to jail for crimes against humanity? Most history books and textbooks, they show Columbus looking like this, which kind of glorifies him. And I think that's the point, to make him seem like a dignified explorer, when in reality, by the end of his life, he was considered a disgrace. And even his own people brought him back to Spain in chains to be arrested. One of the more horrific things that he did was take advantage of native hospitality, and he treated the people as his servants. If he didn't unalive you, he cut something off of you. And he not only did this to the natives, but he also did it to his own people. If someone was caught stealing corn off with your ear or your nose or any other body part, he felt like. Here's a great example. When he was in Haiti, he required every native over the age of 14 to get him gold. It had to be a large amount every 3 months, and if they failed, their hands were cut off. So while you're seeing him portrayed as this like holy hero, he wasn't. He was also a trafficker, and the people he took, he enthusiastically attempted to grape. My head is covering the word for censorship purposes. He would hurt them badly. And you can even see some of his quote here: "I took a piece of rope and whipped her soundly and let forth such incredible screams that you have not believed your ears. Eventually we came to such terms, I assure you, that you would have thought she would have been brought up in a school for..." We're not going to say that word. And this is how he looked at Native American women. And these are the ideals and ideas that he put into the minds of his people, and the ideas that he brought back with him to Spain. Eventually, the mistreatment of his own people and what they continued to witness became too much. And in 1498, the colonists of Hispaniola, those are his own people, revolted against him. They wrote to Spain and said that Columbus was brutal and tyrannical, hence the crimes against humanity. The colonists complained directly to the monarchy, so a royal commissioner came and took Columbus literally in metal chains, popped him on a boat, and said, "You're going to jail, you're going to stand for your crimes against humanity." So in August of 1500s, he had to stand before the King and the Queen of Spain, and he was stripped of his governorship. The only reason he wasn't unalived and he got his freedom was because he went on a fourth voyage, because let's face it, he was bringing the money. He went to his grave disgraced and powerless. And these are some of the most horrific things that we have records of, actual physical records of. You could tap the screen to pause and read them, but there were people testifying, actual people testifying in the 1500s about the horrible acts that Columbus was doing. Like, this is cruel and unusual punishments type stuff. Like, if this went on today, he would probably never see the light of day. And anybody who looks up to this man and says, well, he's our hero, you need to really ask yourself what it is that you feel makes a hero. And are you idolizing him for his actual history, or what you were told to idolize him for? Because I think anyone who ever sits down and reads his writings, or even the historical records from his men, there's no way that they would idolize this man. But of course, they will never share that in your classroom. Where did Crazy Eyes Columbus think he landed when he got to the New World? For most accounts, it says that he thought he landed in India, and that he had found a new route for the spice trade. However, India did not exist at this time, and the Indies, which is a portion of Southern Asia, Southeast Asia to be specific, that makes up Papua New Guinea, the Philippines, etc. He thought he had landed in this region. As you can see from this map, it does include India, but at that time, it wouldn't have been called India. And when he got there, he wrote back to Spain saying he had made landfall and he had navigated all the way to the shores of Asia. And even during that time period, they quickly figured out that he was mistaken. So everybody knew that he was wrong for calling the indigenous people Indians. But you know, he was Columbus, and they kind of let him get away with stuff until they threw him in jail for crimes against humanity. But we'll get back to this one, because we should normalize this picture of Columbus instead of this one with his crazy big eyes. So Columbus thought he had made it to India, or the East Indies, for Southeast Asia. And they wanted an easy way to have trade and travel, because there was a lot of riches in this area at the time. The spice trade was going on. There was a lot of new goods coming in and out. And he was really excited about being like, wrong. Stubborn too, I guess. Because even once everybody realized that he was in the wrong place, he kept insisting that it wasn't. Probably even the indigenous people too. Probably like, who are you? What are you doing here? He kept insisting that he was correct. Until, of course, they credited him with discovering the New World. But you can't really discover something that already has people living in it. That'd be like walking into somebody's house or somebody's car that's already occupied and saying, this is mine now. That stuff will get you arrested, like this. But to clarify, Columbus got lost, did not exactly think he landed in India, the country, but the Indies, he was still very, very wrong. And the history that most students are taught about this man is completely inaccurate. So I'm gonna let this peer into your soul for a little bit. Enjoy.